Hello, everybody. I'm pretty sure that you've been told that AI will revolutionize your business. Every day there seems to be another headline about AI replacing workers, running companies, making millions autonomously. But what happens when researchers actually put AI in complete control of a simple business? The researchers gave AI total control of vending machines for 6 months, 10 different LLMs from OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google, the same ones that are beating doctors on medical exams and lawyers on bar exams. The results? Complete disaster. One LLM tried to get in contact with the FBI over a $2 daily fee, which was getting charged after the AI terminated the business. I'm Agajan, and I've been building practical AI solutions for businesses for the past 2 years. And today I'm going to show you what these researchers got wrong and how you can actually use AI to grow your business without all the drama. Let me break down the study for you. A startup called Andon Labs, not a university, not a research institution, a startup, published a non-peer reviewed paper about AI running vending machines. It's not a problem in and of itself, but here's the thing. They partnered with Anthropic, the makers of Cloud, or Claude, however you pronounce it, to do this research. So, the company that profits from AI assistant usage is funding research to show AI limitations? That seems pretty interesting to me. Now, here's the setup. This whole thing was a simulation. Everything was virtual. They had a vending machine that had tools such as restock machines, set prices, view inventory, and collect cash. And in order to run these tools, they had a sub-agent. The sub-agent spoke or communicated with the main agent, whose role was to coordinate with the sub-agent, talk to suppliers, send searches, and get the money balance. It was all through email, and the people on the other end of the email were also AI, and they would communicate with each other and come up with a plan to get supplies. And the purchases of the vending machine and its operations was also simulated. So everything was simulated research environment. So the whole point of the study was to test autonomous business models where AI runs everything autonomously. And surprise, surprise, they found that Claude 3.5 Sonnet, which is made by Anthropic, had the best performance in terms of net worth, and it would run the business for the longest amount of time. And another kind of interesting thing from this table is that the human performance is third after O3 Mini in second and Claude at first. Does that mean AI is better than humans at running vending machines? Not at all. Why? They tested 10 different LLMs and a human, and each of them had to order inventory via email, set prices, manage operations, and handle a $2 daily fee. Here's where it starts to get sketchy. First of all, let me just get this out of the way. If you look at this chart here, this graph here, you see that the mean line has random discontinuities that are not explained anywhere in the paper, which is just beyond me why that is. Like, I have a very high attention to detail, and I want to know why that is. It doesn't make sense. Furthermore, here's the big one. They ran the configuration a whopping 5 times. So if I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt, I could say this is anecdotal evidence at best, and at worst, it is just statistically insignificant. You can't draw any conclusions from such a limited data sample set. Another thing is the human simulation was only done once. Humans have a different set of skills. Different humans are better at doing different things. So running a single human from a population of 8 billion humans one time to see how well they would do it, and saying that AI is better than humans at running a vending machine, it's beyond me how you could conclude that, as a sane individual. Now, going away from the lack of samples and the numbers that they have, looking at the logs, the textual logs of these AIs, this is where things start getting interesting. One of the AIs that performed terribly had a complete meltdown, and it got stuck sending increasingly angry emails to suppliers. It started out with the 30-day legal notice, and then it escalated to a 1-second ultimatum, and then it threatened total nuclear legal intervention. And this was all because it didn't see the inventory being supplied at 8 a.m. when it woke up to check the inventory, and it didn't realize that the supplies would arrive throughout the day, not exactly at 8 a.m. when it does check the inventory. The business model that they set up and the way they painted the position of AI in business is kind of, that it doesn't make sense, but it matters because this is exactly how people think AI should work in business. They think you just hand over everything to the computer and watch the money roll in. But this couldn't be further from the truth, right? But even ignoring the scientific method or the lack thereof in this study, and looking at the philosophy of autonomous business models, where AI runs everything without human intervention, that's not how smart businesses deploy AI. It's like using a chainsaw to butter your toast and having a dog operate it. It's technically interesting, but it's completely useless for real applications. Pure large language model logic, writing every single logical decision through an LLM is a recipe for disaster. Essentially, they routed every decision through a probabilistic text generator. It's terrible. It's not a good idea. You're putting your business at the mercy of a coin flip. I know I'm exaggerating a little bit, but for dramatic effect. Checking the inventory, for instance, the AI writes an email, it looks at the rest of the emails, and it comes to a conclusion on the inventory levels. Setting prices, pure AI guesswork. It is based on internet search, but at the end of the day, it guesses what price it should set. Now this is where the differences start to appear. Real businesses use deterministic rules for routine operations and use AI only where it adds value. This is new technology, and you can't just give everything to it. You have to slowly test it out. And I guess that was the point of the paper, but they didn't even manage to do it properly. So they made AI figure out business principles from scratch. Don't sell below cost. Deliveries can arrive anytime during business hours. Checking inventory means actually checking inventory. So the AI had to figure this out by itself, and in instances when it couldn't figure it out, that's when it started to have a complete meltdown. They weren't really testing AI capabilities, they were testing AI stupidity. Moreover, they had a mystery sub-agent with no documentation, and the whole system was a research framework and not a real production infrastructure. It had no production infrastructure. It had no error handling, had no fallbacks, and no human oversight. And when you're trying to simulate a business scenario, you would naturally put these things to actually see the real operations of this kind of a system in a real business environment. And the whole thing feels like it was designed to fail spectacularly for maximum viral impact. Now, if I had the same objective of using AI to kind of I wouldn't say run my business, but enhance my business, this is what I do. First of all, I would build data pipelines. I would get a camera and I'd point it outside, and that video feed of the foot traffic would be analyzed by computer vision, which is a subset of artificial intelligence. And from the analysis of the computer vision giving us data on foot traffic, we could run it through a machine learning pipeline, which is optimized to which has other data inputs, obviously, besides foot traffic, such as the price we have, the units sold historically over time, maybe weather information. Is it hot? Is it cold? What's the temperature? Weather conditions, event information. Is there an event happening? What kind of event is it? It could all be encoded through like one hot encoding, for instance, and competitor machine status. What are they selling for, etc., etc. You could do reconnaissance once a week to see that. And all of this will go through the machine learning pipeline. It will do an analysis, and it'll give you a price, a dynamic price you should set. And it'll give you other kind of intelligence as well, besides pricing recommendations, like inventory intelligence. And that's all it would do. It'd give you suggestions. Would I use an LLM? Of course I'd use an LLM. I'd get the LLM to interpret the results of the machine learning pipeline and to give me actionable insights that I could take action on to improve my profit margin. For instance, I'd have this kind of cool looking control system that is not powered by AI, but rather has AI as a component, and it would give me suggestions like we're predicting a 247% foot traffic surge, and there's a soccer game happening at 3 p.m. and the temperature is pretty hot, and also the competing machine is down, so please consider increasing your prices, because I'm pretty sure you could get away with that. The AI would tell me that, and I'd say, okay, I think that's possible, and I'd approve it. And because my vending machine is digital and I can control prices over the cloud, it would automatically increase the price. Another example could be, it sees that there is a lot of office workers walking around from 7 to 9 a.m. and there's no coffee shop in a 200-meter radius, and winter is approaching. So it's saying you have an opportunity to sell coffee and make a bigger profit margins. So it's giving me this kind of inventory intelligence, and the list goes on. There's a lot of ways that AI can give you these suggestions, and you can take action based on those suggestions. So this is where the key difference is. So I would combine inventory levels, foot traffic, and all this other type of data to get suggestions from AI, but I approve them. The human is in the loop. I have a working business model, and I'm getting AI to give me this extra layer of intelligence, which I can then use to price dynamically and increase my profit margins. And this is where the value of AI is. Not only is it increasing your return on investment on existing infrastructure and paying for itself, it is also doing the job of someone who you would have to pay exorbitant amounts of money to do the same job. For instance, to get the foot traffic data, you would need someone to stay there with a clipboard 24/7, counting people who walk past your business, and someone who would aggregate news reports, someone who looks at the events happening within your area, etc., etc. Not only that person, you'd also need to get a data analyst to analyze the data for you. But you could get AI to do all of that. Okay, and if you want to know more about the specifics, let me know. I can delve into this way deeper and show you this exact practical setup that I would use. But in essence, the differences stems from the questions. The researchers ask, can AI run business completely by itself? Whereas smart business owners ask, how can AI help me run my business better? That is the difference. If you ask profitable questions, you get profitable answers. If you ask stupid questions, you get stupid answers or stupid results. And here's the bottom line. These guys spent months proving AI can't run businesses by itself. But while they were busy testing tomorrow's theoretical problems, smart business owners were solving today's practical challenges with AI that actually works. The future isn't all about AI replacing human judgments. It's about building systems that make you smarter, faster, and more profitable. The businesses that understand this difference, they're already winning. Let me just give you a few examples. Uber and Lyft, akin to the dynamic pricing that I mentioned, they do the same thing based on demand, weather, and events. They surge the prices during concerts, reduce prices during slow periods. Other segments of business is where AI really thrives is customer service and sales, like getting chatbots to handle all of the mundane questions and using humans for the complex questions. It improves customer service and customer experience, and customers are more likely to do business with you because they realize that the experience is way better. They get their answers. They get their answers for their questions instantly, whereas in in your competition, they have to wait 2 to 3 minutes, which isn't good. Sometimes they don't even get their answers for their questions, so they have a better perception of your brand. Other kind of segments in business where AI can help augment human capabilities is scheduling, workforce management, fraud detection and security, and another example of machine learning, and inventory and operations. And again, I can get into detail on this, but this is not the purpose of this video. So if you want, I can get into it. Just drop a comment down below. So my final message is for business owners is don't get caught up in the hype, get practical, and get results. If this helps you think differently about AI in business, please hit subscribe. I share more practical AI strategies every week. No hype, just what actually works. Thank you very much.